Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Vasudevasutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Okay, so we are at verse 11 of chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita. We finished verse 10. Okay, 1 second. I need to get the right book. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just kind of a little bit summarize what we did in the past few weeks in different verses. So we are talking about the Dhyana Yogi. So basically, Lord Krishna is saying that he should practice this meditation called, Nidhi Dhyasan. And then the previous verse said that remaining in the solitary place, and we discussed in detail, meditate upon the self, means focus on the self, free from all distractions, expectations or sense of possession and all, we discussed all that. So the preparation is very important in this whole thing. And basically we are learning to pay attention to self. And for that we should also understand intellectually the nature of self. And the study of scriptures and contemplating upon it helps us to comprehend that what is my real nature. And then we also know that in chapter 2, Bhagwan told in detail about, lots of different verses about the nature of self, eternal, all-pervading, changeless, and all that, whatever you guys remember about that. So one thing that Nikhilanandji mentioned that was very important. He said, meditation is not about thinking or doing any action, but it's paying attention or being aware of that, conscious of the self. So the focus is, finally, the goal is to focus on the self. And this is the state that actually leads to the realization, final purpose, of our life, basically. So, and then in the previous verses, we also saw that same self, this realized person sees in everything, including situations, things, and being. And when it was things, it talked about, that a lump of gold or a stone or a lump of mud, he sees same self in it. So utility may be different in a transactional level, and he doesn't give too much importance, like extra importance that we give, but utility-wise he might give, but that's about it. And once you get that sama buddhi, so the person who is already reached, he will do all these things spontaneously. For us, it becomes a sadhana. So that's how we have to remind ourselves. And then he talked about, remember that there was one verse when he said all different kinds of people, whether it's your enemy or friend or neutral or, and all that, usme bhi wo sabko saman roop se dikhta hai. And he's saying, why? Because such person excels, means he goes to the final goal. So that's what it is. So in order for us to help this whole process, अभी environment के बारे में बताएंगे लॉर्ड कृष्णा कि भाई कौन सी जगह पे जाना चाहिए. वैसे तो उन्होंने बताया कि solitary place, but that's not the end of it. There is some more stuff. Because in the beginning, if the environment is conducive, then it will help us. एक बार अगर वो उसका मिल गया कि कैसे करना चाहिए, तो then you might be able to do anywhere, but in the beginning it's very important. So another thing that he reminded us, Nikhilanandji, that just a process of sitting is not meditation, okay? But sitting properly helps in it. Because somebody could be just close your eyes and sitting and, saying, oh, I'm meditating. That's not what the whole idea is. But to sit also is important. So this is the background. And so what are the various things that we should take care of? That's what Bhagwan is going in very much detail, and it starts with this verse 11. So I'm going to chant the verse 11. Shucho deshe pratisthaya sthiramasanamaatmanah natyuchittam natinicham chailajina kushottaram. Shucho is clean. Deshe, spot. Here it's spot, deshe means a place. Pratisthaya, having established. Sthiram, sthir ho jana, firm. Asanam, we all know asan, seat. So there are two meanings of asan. One is, जिस सीट पे हम बैठते हैं उसको भी आसन बोलते हैं, और जो हमारा बॉडी का posture होता है. Because, yam, niyam, asan, the yoga wala, दोनों meaning आएगा यहाँ पे. So this is what happens in Bhagavad Gita verses as well as Upanishad verses. Minimum words are given, but we have to draw all these different meanings from it. And Atmanaha is his own. No is not. Atyuchitram is very high. बहुत ऊंचा आसन ना हो. No is not. Ati nicham. So we know nicha means niche. Low भी नहीं होना चाहिए. And then chaila jina kushottaram, it means a cloth, skin, and kusha grass, animal skin or something. Olden days they used to use it. We will discuss what it is talking about. Those are the word meaning, one over the other. So basically, to help us in meditation, what Krishna Bhagavan is saying, select a good place in the beginning. Very important. And intuitively we already know, right? But just he's describing, maybe some people may not think about this. So there should be basic idea, there should be no distraction from the environment. So, and also there should be no distraction from within our body, senses and mind. Of course, that's a very tall order, but idea is that. So the first thing we have to worry about is मैं कहाँ बैठूं. So जहाँ पर मैं थोड़े लंबे समय तक के लिए बैठ सकूं, that's the main thing, So what he starts with, Shucho Deshe, means select a pure and clean place. So this Shucho में दोनों आ जाता है, purity or cleanliness. And because it is a known fact that the environment affects our body and mind. हम किसी सात्विक जगह में जाते हैं, हमारा माइंड भी काम हो जाता है. तभी तो लोग जो मंदिर वगैरह जाते हैं, क्यों जाते हैं? वहाँ सब लोग प्रे कर रहे हैं. कहीं भी अगर चर्च में भी जाके बैठ जाओ, एकदम शांति का अनुभव प्राप्त होगा. Even if you can go on a mosque, because whoever it may be in the world, they're praying there. They are not going there, for their business deals, but they are going there and trying to connect to the higher, So some place, but then why it is important कि वो pure भी और clean भी हो? Because, निखिलानंद जी से कोई जगह clean हो सकती है मगर maybe pure नहीं है. And we'll talk about what the purity he means. और कोई जगह pure है मगर clean नहीं है. And हम लोग ने इंडिया में बहुत, अभी तो खैर सुधर रहा है सब मोदी जी के आने के बाद. पहले जितना बड़ा मंदिर होता था उतनी वो लोग गंदगी फैलाते थे, राइट? तो इतनी प्योर जगह है उसको गंदा करके रखते थे. तो वो भी सही नहीं है, बिकॉज your mind will not become quiet there. And we have seen that जब हम लोग यहाँ से अमेरिका से जाते थे तो सबसे पहले वो गंदगी दिखाई देती थी, राइट? तो ये मंदिर में जाने से तो मन अच्छा होना चाहिए, यहाँ पर गंदगी फैली हुई है. Now it's getting so much better now. So what Nikhilanand ji was explaining, that means pure यहाँ पर means कि वो divinity के संस्कार होने चाहिए वहाँ पे. And वैसे तो हर जगह होता है, but some places, where people invoke divinity, जैसे कि कोई temple हो या आश्रम हो, तो उसमें ना उसका vibrations होता है. And we have experienced it. There are places where great Mahatmas have meditated, for example. I don't know how many of you went to the Vivekanand Rock in South. Yeah, you have been there? So, नीचे जाके जहाँ पर विवेकानंद जी ने actually meditate किया था, वहाँ पर वो लोग बोलते हैं तुम जाके बैठो और वहाँ कोई बात नहीं करता है. You just go there for a few minutes, you sit, and my God, you feel like just amazing, feeling. And then the other place I felt really, जहाँ पर रमन्ना महर्षि ने 7 साल तक किया था, एक गुफा जैसी है, उसमें भी लोग सिर्फ थोड़ी देर के लिए जाते हैं, and you don't talk there at all. You just go there to feel that. And because you know he has done that, and somehow you catch that vibration. It's the most amazing, peaceful feeling. That's what he's talking about. So he's saying that suppose if there is a place where people indulge in worldly things or fight there, or argue there and all that, he's saying that some sensitive people might just start feeling sorrowful over there because the vibrations are such. That's why it is important.
यहाँ पे है SRF में भी जगह है.
हाँ, SRF में भी है. और आई थिंक विवेकानंद वेदांता सोसाइटी में भी वो लोग हमेशा एक रूम रखते हैं. एंड जहाँ पर भी ये सेंट्स एंड सेजेस ने बहुत दिनों तक मेडिटेट किया हो ना, उनके जो भक्त होते हैं हमेशा वो रूम को ऐसे छोड़ देते हैं, प्रिजर्व कर देते हैं. अदर पीपल कैन गो एंड सिट देयर, बिकॉज ऑफ द सेम वाइब्रेशन की वजह से. And my sister is here, and she loves that place in SRF, जहाँ पर वो एक बनाया हुआ ना राउंड, राइट, जहाँ पर he met Saint Francis आए थे वहाँ पे उनसे मिलने के लिए. वहाँ पर सभी खाली मेडिटेट करते हैं. She'll always tell me she finds the most powerful vibrations over there. So that's exactly what they're talking about. So mind will feel the vibration, and it will be easier to become quiet and, find the mental balance that we are looking for over there. And I think initial stages, it is the most important. Later on, people who get comfortable with doing, they say they can meditate and train में भी कर सकते हैं वो लोग, but अभी हम लोग पहुँचे नहीं, at least मैं तो नहीं. So we need to practice what they are saying, So important thing is to select a place free from negative vibrations, whichever one you do, and then whoever's house is big enough, they can actually create a separate room, he was suggesting. And in our previous house in Houston, we had a separate room. So there you don't indulge in any worldly things. You just go and, for the purpose of meditation. The moment you go there, your mind will quieten down, because it's, signal you get, hey, here I'm just coming to sit quietly. If you can do that, that's nothing better than that, actually. But not every time we can do that, but at least one corner you can make it like that. So next thing that he talks about is asan kaisa hona chahiye, So clean or pure place ho gaya, then seat kaisi honi chahiye. So comfortable asan hona chahiye, that's the basic idea. And it seems that, in olden days, they used to sit like in a particular manner. He's going to talk about it, but there's a reason, because it should be a heat lose nahi honi chahiye body se. Because it seems that if you sit directly on the ground, you'll get cold very fast. I didn't think about all those things, but that's how Swamiji explained, So we should not be sitting directly on the ground. So in olden days, what they used to do, and that's what Krishna Bhagavan is suggesting Arjuna to do, is you put a grass, bolte na bhusa jaisa hota hai, which dry grass, you put that, and then they used to put animal skin on it, and then they used to put a cloth on it. That was olden days. But Chinmayanand ji said, ये सब करने की जरूरत नहीं है आजकल के ज़माने में, just take a blanket, fold it, and keep it. So very simple, and you could put a soft cloth, cotton cloth over it, because, when you sit, then you shouldn't, if you perspire and all that, it will soak it. And, just make it as comfortable as possible. So that's what he was suggesting, and I think it's a great suggestion. So in Bhagavad Gita verses, you don't have to take like absolutely the word meaning, but see what Krishna Bhagavan is trying to say, and you can change according to the times, So these days we are not going in the jungles to meditate, so we don't need this kusha grass and all that, but that's what we need to do. But it has to be an asana that you can sit for a long time. And then he was also suggesting that you create a personal asana, the same blanket you use, uska bhi vibration hota hai, according to him. He's giving a little more tips, that if you use the same one, and I have seen, like, I have one thing that I do my yoga on, one blanket, and now that blanket is just for yoga. And the moment I see that, my mind gets into that, that, hey, this is what I have to do. It's just tuning of the mind. So there are small things, but it does matter. And then Krishna Bhagwan says, वो आसन बहुत ऊंचा नहीं होना चाहिए और नीचा भी नहीं होना चाहिए, because there are two ways you can look at it. Somebody will say, oh, I want to go to Himalaya to do, वहाँ पर ऑक्सीजन लेवल कम होएगा और हम लोग को आदत नहीं है, तो हम लोग तो मेडिटेट में कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे. और या कोई सारे ये योगी जो है ना गुफा में करते हैं, सो कोई डैम्प सी गुफा में चले गए तो वहाँ पर भी हमको चलने वाला नहीं है. सो दैट्स वन वे टू लुक एट इट. अनदर, कोई बहुत ऊंचे आसन पे बैठ जाएगा तो उसको गिरने का डर रहेगा, वो थोड़ा बैलेंस, मतलब his mind won't be rested. He will be कि मैं कहीं नीचे न गिर जाऊं. And then he also said कि अगर काइंड ऑफ बहुत सेलर में जाके, किसी का घर होता है ना, वाइन सेलर अगर किसी का हो, वहां पर जाएगा तो इट विल बी टू डैम्प. You start getting joint pains, according to Swamiji. When we do read his commentary, he will tell you. So he's even telling you ना ज़्यादा ऊंचा और ना, मतलब बैलेंस वाला होना चाहिए आसन. And other point I was telling you, one is a physical आसन, ये कि जो बिछाया हुआ है उसको भी आसन बोलते हैं. अभी बॉडी का आसन, राइट? बॉडी का आसन पतंजलि योग सूत्र में इसे स्थिरम एंड सुखम आसन ही से. स्थिर मीन स्टेडी. सो यहाँ पर भी उन्होंने स्थिर बोला है भगवान ने. तो स्थिरम, अपना बॉडी भी स्थिर होना चाहिए. सुखासन, जो ऐसे फोल्ड करके बैठते हैं ना हम लोग. सो कोई बोलेगा वो पद्मासन में ही सिर्फ अच्छी मेडिटेशन हो सकती है, पर अगर मेरी बॉडी यूज टू नहीं है पद्मासन की, तो इफ आई सिट इन पद्मासन तो आई विल बीन हर्टिंग इट. And sometimes you don't even know how to untangle it. And Nikhil Anandji was joking. He said you will have to get somebody else to untangle you. So you don't need to do all that. And then of course we know at old age, if you cannot sit on the floor, sit on the chair. Idea is, the ideal position Krishna Bhagwan is telling you to sit on the floor if your body allows it, that is. So that's why if you start early in your life, probably, you can do it. But suppose if somebody did start late, then just find a comfortable asana. And what is the idea behind what he's saying? Ki your body you should forget your body. That's the idea. So how will you forget? Only when you're comfortable. तो कभी इधर ही चोरी है, कभी उधर ही चोरी है, you will not be able to concentrate, That's why he's telling you that it has to be pain-free and healthy. Suppose it's not, you try to do best way that you can sit longer. Logic. That's what you have to use. So the other way to look at it is, the body should not demand any attention. You should be able to forget your body. And even थोड़ा सा भी अगर वो demand करेगा ना, तुम्हारा focus चला जाएगा. And he gave a very beautiful example. It's like he equated this doing, sitting for meditation is, suppose if somebody is कोई तीर चला रहा हो, निशाना साध रहा हो, और इसे वही टाइम पे तुम आके उसको बोलोगे, hey, look at this text message that you got or something, he'll get distracted. So he's saying that if the body start demanding attention, it is something like that you are trying to transcend the body, mind and intellect. And your body, you can't even go beyond your body. That's why he gave all these tips, So each person has to practice on their own what will work for them, So whole sar of this thing is that your body should be absolutely still. You should practice this for a long time, master the asana. So that's why when we sit, the more we practice sitting, that's where we'll get it, right? So even sitting is a practice in the beginning. The longer you sit, that how long I can sit and all that. Then you will be actually free from all these things to meditate. And the body, mind, and all these things are not going to interfere, So that's basically it is. Any question or comment, or if somebody wants to add anything? Who would like to read Swamiji's commentary today? Meeraji is hiding.
I can read it.
Yeah, Sushilji, go ahead.
Okay. Having in a clean spot established a firm seat of his own, neither too high nor too low, made of a cloth, a skin, and a kusha grass, and over the other, one over the other. If meditation is the path by which one can gain tranquility and equal vision within oneself, it is necessary that in this textbook of self-perfection, Lord Krishna should give a complete and exhaustive explanation of the technique of meditation. In order to fulfill this demand, hereunder we get a few verses explaining the position, the means, and the ends of a meditator at his work.
So this is simple one. Basically, an important thing is this is what is going to give you tranquility and equal vision within oneself. That is the goal, but you need all these other paraphernalia to be proper position to go ahead.
In the following paras is a description of the seat and the place for perfect meditation. In a clean place. This is important in as much as the external conditions have a direct bearing upon the human mind. In a clean place, there is more chance for the seeker to maintain a cleaner mental condition. Apart from this, commentators explain that the place should be rid of mosquitoes, houseflies, bugs, ants, and such other creatures that may disturb the beginner's mental concentration, which he is trying to turn inward.
Oh.
Also,
it was the same paragraph in mine, that's why I waited. Also cleanliness is right?
Yeah. Also, cleanliness is considered as next to divinity in India. Also, cleanliness is considered as next to divinity in India. Not, of course, in our modern times of total Hindu decadence, where a typical bhakta is a stinking specimen of dirt and ugliness.
So he's just telling you that, I think in English maybe वो एक कहावत है ना, what is it? Cleanliness is godliness, isn't there? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That एक तरफ वो बोल रहे हैं कि हम भगवान को इन्वोक कर रहे हैं, ऊपर से गंदगी फैला के रखी हुई है. So it doesn't match. We already know. Thank God the mandirs are getting better now. Yeah.
In his seat, the meditator is asked to sit steady, sthiram, without moving the physical body at short intervals and without swinging the body either forward and backwards or sideways. The seeker is asked to get himself firmly established on his seat because physical movement contributes immensely to the shattering of mental concentration and inner equipoise. This is very well realized by all of us. If we only remember our attitude when we are sincerely and seriously thinking over something. In order to get established in a firm posture, it would be advisable to sit in any comfortable seat, asana, with the vertebral column erect, fingers interlocked, and hands thrown in front.
So here we already know कोई भी बुद्धा की मूर्ति देख लो. Shireen gave me this gift and the Buddha is sitting right in front of me over here. So it is like this hand we all know. So that's what he's talking about.
Adding more details, Krishna says that the seat of the meditation should not be too high or too low. If it is too high, there will be a sense of insecurity in the meditator, created as a result of the instinct of self-preservation. He will find it difficult to extricate himself from his outer world consciousness and plunge himself into the inner. Again, we are told that the seat should not be too low. This is to avoid mistakes of meditating in any damp underground cellar, where chances are that the seeker may easily develop rheumatic pains in his body. During meditation, the heart functions during meditation, the heart function becomes slightly slow, and to the extent we are withdrawn into ourselves, even the blood pressure falls down. At such a time of low resistance, if the place be damp, there is a great chance of a seeker developing pains in his joints. To avoid such troubles, the warning is given here.
So here indirectly स्वामी जी already said that किसी का high blood pressure हो ना उसको meditate करना चाहिए, blood pressure कम हो जाएगा, और किसी का heart बहुत anxiety हो रही हो heart rate will come down. So we already know the side benefits, but of course Krishna Bhagwan is not talking about, he's talking about the highest reason why we should be meditating. These are all the side benefits you get anyway.
When the Geeta is out to give details, she leaves nothing to the imagination of the student. The exhaustive detail regarding the ideal seat for meditation is an example. It is said here that a mattress of kusha grass on the ground with the deer skin covered with a piece of cloth on top of it is the perfect seat for long meditations. Dampness is avoided by the kusha grass, which keeps the seat warm during winter. In summer, the skin becomes too hot, and also some seekers are allergic to the animal skin, especially when their skin has become slightly moist with perspiration. This contingency is being avoided by spreading over the skin a piece of clean cloth. Having thus established himself firmly on the meditation seat, prepared as above, what exactly he is to do, mentally and intellectually, is now explained.
So this was a fairly simple verse, right? But amazing thing is that those three things that Krishna Bhagwan was talking about, how much science is there behind it, why he said it. That's the main thing, kusha grass, because in olden days, whatever they used, there's a whole thing. So we have to just translate into the modern era, and basically, just a blanket will do the job of all three, I guess, for us.
What should be done after establishing oneself upon the prepared seat?
Any question, comment? Anybody wants to add anything?
I think this is the easier part. Next one is difficult.
But it is easier, but also very important.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Sometimes, Jack, when we become too this thing, फिर वो कहीं भी जाके हम लोग बैठ के try करेंगे, and then so I cannot concentrate. So he's telling you from like total baseline. I think if you follow step by step, there's such a greater chance of us succeeding. That's the whole idea. That's why, Swamiji said that he left nothing to imagination, Lord Krishna. He gave you as much detail as possible. So I think that people who meditate, वो और गीता पढ़े या नहीं पढ़े, chapter 6 तो पढ़ ही लेना चाहिए. Right? Because आजकल like somebody once, Swami was saying कि meditation का word तो इतना common हो गया है कि it is like such a selling point. So many different kinds of meditations are floating around and all that, but if you want to know absolute basic, you go to chapter 6 over here. It's absolutely amazing. So even though we have time, I'm going to move on to, if there is no question, comment or anything, I will move on to Kathopanishad. Since we started late and all, we might finish early today.
I had one comment.
Sure.
I used to think this bush grass and all that stuff is to insulate all the energy that you accumulate meditating to dissipate.
Part of it is true. That is exactly right. It should be a bad conductor of all those, because you do build up energy and in the form of heat and all that. And one of the Swamis explained that. Yeah, you don't want it to dissipate. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. But Abhi, it's not practical, no, for people to get kusha grass and animal skin and all that.
No, I meant anything which is, rather than sit on the ground, it's better to sit on some cushion.
Yes, that's exactly what he's saying.
That's the whole point.
Yep. So you got it right.
Yeah.
Okay, shall I close then? सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम